Good morning, Don.
Hi. How are you, Barbara?
I'm good. I can only see the top of your head.
Well, that's because I don't have this damn thing adjusted
There,
right.
that's better.
Hi, Mike.
Have you been out duck hunting?
Yes.
Good morning.
There we go.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, Wade.
Hello, Mike. How are you all doing?
Bright out and bushy tail.
There you go.
Welcome to our meeting.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate the invitation and the opportunity to share about what's going on with the Salvation Army.
Great.
It's interesting. Your name down in the lower left corner says Austin. Yes. Are you using somebody else's computer?
It's on my laptop, but that's my son.
Ah, okay.
So, he has, we're all intertwined somehow with all his Google Docs and all his work and emails. It's just amazing.
I understand. Well, thank you for joining us this morning. Good morning, Andy. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning.
Don.
Hi, Andy.
Where's mine?
Morning, Andy. You're on mute, I guess. Yeah, well, I can't hear you. You're on mute now. There you go.
Now we can't hear you either.
Is your sound turned down? Just send us a chat if you need to say something. Morning, Laura.
Good morning. How are
There she is.
y'all? From a camper in Branson, Missouri.
Cool.
Cool.
Is it cold there?
Yes, it's cold.
Cold in a camper, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Didn't you all drive back up to New York or somewhere last month?
Yeah, we took a puppy to my daughter in Beacon, New York.
Cool. What kind of puppy?
A Springer Spaniel.
Oh,
He's darling.
oh, I bet. I bet there were many stops along the way.
Yeah, it took us 2 nights to get up there, and of course 2 nights there and 2 nights back.
Morning, Carolyn.
Good morning.
Morning, Carolyn.
Good morning.
Jim.
How are you, Jim?
I'm fine. This Jim or that Jim?
No, you, Jim.
Both
No,
good.
I'm fine.
Had to get unmuted.
Hi, Jim.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Jim.
How are you doing, Barbara?
Doing good.
Good.
You'll appreciate this. The granddaughter drove from here up to our place in Colorado yesterday.
Uh-huh.
By the time she got to Raton, it was snowing and then snowing hard. I
Yeah,
had to have my caretaker up there come rescue her.
yeah,
She got stuck.
yeah. That's so common.
I know, and she's lived in Golden for 3.5 years. You'd think she'd know that can happen.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty upsetting when it does. You're just kind of like at everybody's mercy.
I know.
Is anybody
Let me know
skiing
when
yet,
Rich
Barbara?
Jarvis comes on.
Barbara, is anybody skiing yet?
I'm sorry, what?
Is anyone skiing in Colorado?
I don't
Snow
know.
skiing.
I
They
think
haven't opened the ski slopes in Angel Fire yet. I know that, but they've got 31 is the base. 31 inches is the base up there. 31 total. 31 total is the base.
Morning, Linda.
Good morning.
Hi, Linda.
Hi.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It was actually a very good one,
What'd you do?
considering.
Did you do anything fun?
No, not really. Had the kids Zoom, all of them, from like 3 different states, and then some friends had a drive-by and brought me roses.
What fun.
My husband actually bought me a cake.
That's nice.
Good.
Wow.
I'm fat and happy.
Does he not normally give you a cake?
No. The girls ordered me one too, so now I have 2. They said they thought they couldn't fail with that he'd never in this world, so now I've got cakes.
Well, what flavor did he think your favorite cake was?
Caramel and strawberry, which was kind of strange.
That's interesting.
Yeah, gelato. It was very good.
Oh,
The
that's
girl got
wonderful.
me limoncello. That's
Ah.
more my style.
Jack Freeze looks like he's doing a Johnny Cash on us over there.
All in
Yeah.
black.
The man in black.
Good morning, Judge.
Morning, y'all.
Hi, Jack.
Jack, are you there?
He's finishing his breakfast.
Yeah. Hi, Gifty.
Hey, Gifty.
Hi, Laura.
Who's that?
Someone's looking for Mike.
I was so
Hey.
sorry to hear about Don Walker.
Right.
Absolutely. Bless his heart.
Such a sweet man.
Oh, I know.
He was the guy who brought me in the club.
Yeah, that's
Your
right.
sponsor?
Mhm. Yeah, I spoke to Keith about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3, and he was able to see him over at the home that he was at. But they weren't allowing visitors. But the receptionist said, well, Don is just right in the next room. Why don't you go ahead? And he did, but
Okay.
anyway, he wasn't recognizing him.
Mm.
So.
That was my experience the last time we visited him. He was happy to have company, but didn't know who we were.
Oh,
When was that, Mike? Was that before the lockdown?
Oh, yes. It may have been right before the lockdown, February.
I know Carol had said that they had gone out there, but it's been maybe a year or so ago, and he didn't know who they were.
You always recognize me.
Okay.
Hi, Ellie.
Pin on, right?
Everybody,
Morning.
happy birthday, Caroline.
Thank you.
It's creeping up on you.
I know.
You guys have heard me say this before. The last time I visited with Don, he was still out there on 81st and quite cognizant, really. And as we visited with him, he was nursing a solo cup full of scotch, taking a sip every now and then, and just enjoying the evening. We really had a good time.
That's nice to hear. I know Stan went to see him recently. Right, he was there, what, 3 weeks ago?
It's been a couple of months.
Oh, hi, Stan.
Hi. He recognized Barbara and I and asked about Jane Doss. And so we called Jane and he talked to her a little bit. But he was in sad shape at that time. He had lost a lot of weight and had questionable thought process at the time. But it was sad. And then Jane tried to get in to see him just about 3 weeks ago, and they wouldn't let her in because of COVID.
Yeah.
Back to what Don Wasson said just a second ago. I think it was the first Christmas party that Kathy and I went to after being in Rotary. And of course, Shirley was just the perfect hostess. And she was just class is what she was. And
Amen.
so they had this party, and it was up at the financial club. And so Kathy and I are getting ready to leave. And Don and Shirley says, why don't you come over to the house for a nightcap? Yeah.
Don said.
And we go over to their house, and he brings out scotch I'd never heard of. And it was a long nightcap. And I had a brand new car. I just bought this Jeep Wagoneer, and it had snowed while we were inside the house. And I was telling Kathy as we were leaving, oh boy, I get to try the 4-wheel drive out. And I got stuck in front of the house.
Oh no. With 4-wheel drive.
Kathy, we're just sleeping in the car. We're not asking for help. If I got a car with 4-wheel drive and we're stuck on pavement, but we got it going. But anyway, that was their house. They had a setup in their backyard for when those boys were like, and it was perfect for teenage kids.
Okay, we're going to start the meeting at 7 o'clock. So let me hang on and bring up the flag picture here. Okay, Mike Bibby is our Rotarian of the day. And
Okay, we'll start with a prayer. If you'll bow your heads, please. Father, Creator, we pray your blessings on us as we gather. Rotary is an organization dedicated to serving our fellow mankind. It is our hope that our efforts are pleasing in your eyes. We ask that you keep us healthy in these particularly trying times. Keep our spirits up until we can meet again in person. We ask your blessing on our lives and our efforts in your holy name. Amen.
Amen.
And now, if you'll join me in the prayer and pledge.
Yes.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, Megan. I think Megan's on. Yeah, there you are.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. Well, good morning on this cold morning. Do we have any visitors besides our speaker? Anybody? I'm looking to see. It doesn't look like it unless you guys see anybody bring anybody. No. All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming. All right. Well, hey, are there any birthdays or anniversaries? Yes, Janet.
Today is my birthday.
Happy
Happy
birthday.
Thank you.
Yay. Well, I hope you have a great day.
Thank you.
And tomorrow is both my wife's and my youngest daughter's birthday.
Well, I hope they have a wonderful birthday. That's all birthdays. Great.
My birthday's on the 6th.
On the 6th, okay.
Yeah.
Coming, that's
What
this
birthday is it?
weekend.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Linda just had a birthday.
I did. I just had a big one, and I sent my check off to Rotary International like a good Rotarian. Had a very good day, and happy birthday, Carolyn.
Thank you.
Fellow Sagittarian.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very fun. Awesome. Okay. Any other anniversaries, birthdays? Okay. What about Happy Bucks? Everybody have a great Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. Yes, Janet.
I don't really have a happy buck. I'm asking for prayers. About 3 weeks ago, Mom called me, said she wasn't feeling well. We got her to a cardiologist, put a Holter monitor on her. She's had it less than 2 weeks. He called her, said she's having heart block. She's getting a pacemaker put in this morning.
We will definitely keep her in our prayers.
Thank you.
Hopefully that will help.
Thank you.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, let's see. Kurt.
Yeah, I want to offer an apology to our guest, Austin from the Salvation Army, because Don and I were sharing about Don Walker and his good taste in Scotch, and I realized that the Salvation Army was started by General Booth to promote temperance, and to this day has an active ministry in helping those persons like Don and I that sometimes stray from malt Scotch. So I offer that apology.
Awesome. All right, Stan, I see you waving.
Yeah, I've got happy birthday to all those. And we just finished Big Bend in Texas. And so we've got 48 of the 52 domestic parks done. We're going down to Florida, leaving next week. I've got an appointment at MD Anderson for a quick stop with a bone marrow. And then we're headed to Florida to the 3 parks. And then we're going to spend the winter in Florida. So at Fort Myers in an RV park, part of it, and probably at Jane Doss's house and the other part. So we're going to have fun in the sun.
Stan, we need to talk. I'll be in Captiva over Christmas. So yeah, so we're gonna be right near each other. We'll have to talk. All right.
We've got a dinner planned with Tommy Williams while we're down there too.
Oh, good, good. Wow, awesome. Okay. I saw some other waves. Oh, is that Jack Freeze? Are you talking? You're on mute. Jack?
Jack.
You're on mute. Okay.
I'll do it.
Okay, Barbara.
Martha sent out the notice, or Kit did on Fundraiser, about Martha's Tulsa Chorale Group and their concert that they gave last Saturday, I believe. And you could, they were going to do some in person, but they ended up doing it all virtual, and I bought a ticket for it to watch it virtually. But of course, OSU was playing football, so I didn't watch it that night. But it was a beautiful, beautiful presentation, and the staging was lovely, and the voices were beautiful. It was about, I guess, 40 minutes long. It was really, really lovely. I don't know if it's still available, but kudos to them because they did a beautiful job with it.
That's great. Oh, that's great. Is Martha here? She's not, I don't think she's here. We'll have to congratulate her. That's awesome. All right, I think I see Jack again trying to talk. Jack, we can't hear you. Okay.
Jack, we can't hear you. I don't think he can hear us.
I don't think he can hear us either. Okay. Maybe he's talking, I don't know. Okay, Janet, your hand is raised.
Yes, one more time.
Okay.
Scott and I are going to Utah tomorrow, if everything's good with my mom, to celebrate my birthday. And my best friend from residency lives up there, and he's invited us to have dinner, and I get to see his 12-year-old son for the first time.
Oh, yay.
So
Well,
he's
have a great trip.
Yeah, he's infectious disease doctor at his hospital, so he's going to be very careful.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right. Well, safe travels.
Thank you.
Good. Anybody else? I'm looking for waving hands, waving hands. Okay. All right. Going once, going twice. Okay. Joke of the day. This is called an elderly gentleman. This is actually courtesy of Jim Blackburn. An elderly gentleman had serious hearing problems for a number of years. He went to the doctor, and the doctor was able to have him fitted for a set of hearing aids that allowed the gentleman to hear at 100%. The elderly gentleman went back in a month to the doctor, and the doctor said, "Your hearing is perfect. Your family must be really pleased that you can hear again." The gentleman replied, "Oh, I haven't told my family yet. Oh gosh, dun, dun, dun. Sorry, my computer went off right at the time. The gentleman replied, "Oh, I haven't told my family yet. I just sit around and listen to conversations. I've changed my will 3 times." Sorry. That didn't get executed very well.
Nonetheless, that's a good one. Something to keep in mind.
That's right.
Okay, let me go back to sharing. Okay, I just wanted to put this up. Don Walker was a longtime member of our Sunrise Rotary, and it was just always fun to have Don around. So I just lifted some of the information off DACDB and his smiling face, because that's always how I will remember Don. He was just full of energy and full of Rotary. He loved Rotary. So just a tribute to Don. And as Andy said, if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. Okay, we didn't have a mistake in the fundraiser this time on purpose. Well, there may be some mistakes, but we didn't plant one because Steve did not do the fundraiser this week. Kit took over that job for him. And the last winners were, again, the Tong Quest. And I didn't know which one put it in, so they got the gift card. I hope it already came in the mail. So we'll have another mistake in next week's fundraiser. Okay, our polio jar now is up to $225.25. So I think we'll just keep this up till the end of the year. It's not too late to send in your 2020 for 2020 and keep that jar growing. Again, just a reminder that we are giving money from the club to Fostering Children and to Salvation Army for Christmas gifts for the kids. And we'll be talking more about this, I think, in February. I think Gifty has it lined up for February for the glasses donation, Gathering Hearts. So let me see here. Mike, you want to go ahead and do your drawing?
To the drawing, sure.
Let me share multiple. Hold on. Okay.
All right. Let's see, share the screen. Oh, first we have to draw. Okay, again, this week we've got 20 tickets in here. Thank you, Carolyn McGay, for putting in 25% of those. And I hope you can see me stirring them up. And I'm pulling out a name, and the name is Freeman. Is Joanne with us tonight? I don't think so. All right, here's another ticket. Barney, is Barney with us this morning? I think I saw.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let me.
What are you gonna pick?
I don't know. Let's see what the choices are.
Okay. There are the ticket numbers, Barney, 3, 4, 5, 10, 14, 15, 67, 8, 19.
Let's
There's
go,
300.
let's go with 14.
14, okay. All right, here we go. I don't know if anybody can see this or not. There's ticket 14. And, uh-oh, it's the,
Oh.
well, yeah, there it is. 3 of hearts. Barney, nice
Yeah.
try, but you didn't get the pot.
Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome.
And that pot is getting bigger. So if you want to have your name in the pot for next week, be sure and send a check to Mike Gibby.
Can we buy some of Carolyn's tickets?
Well, it's not doing her a whole lot of good to salt the pot.
Okay. As announced in your fundraiser, we will be having elections on December the 16th. That's 2 weeks from now. We have 2 slots for the foundation, Don Wasson and Mark Welty. And then we have Bill Bowen, who will be the incoming president, and his board over there on the right-hand side of the screen. Megan, did you say you thought you knew a way to do voting remotely, anonymously, or should we just, you and I, talk about that offline?
Let's talk about it offline. I looked into it. It may be only available for webinar type, like it may depend on your subscription. So we need to see if the subscription you have allows for that.
Okay, we'll check that. And if not, I think people could vote on the chat room and vote directly to me, and I'll just tally them. And that would be as anonymous as we could go. Okay, and as usual, when we get to December 16th, if anybody would like to volunteer for any of the positions, or you would like to nominate somebody, that certainly is an option for them. So let's see, we don't have a date yet for our January breakfast. When I planned this, it wasn't nearly as bad as it is today. So we'll just kind of keep that on hold. Maybe February, we'll just wait and see. Again, this is the chart that I show every week, and that huge spike there, I think that was because on the 25th, they did not report anything. So I really don't think that's that huge a spike. I think it was a catch-up day, but it still is spiking. As you can read the papers, you'll know that. Okay, Mike, I am going to turn it over to you as Rotarian of the Day, and you can introduce yourself and Wade, who is our Salvation Army guest.
All right, thank you. Almost everything about me is in the newsletter, so I'm not going to go into great detail. I will share that it took me 9 years to get a degree out of school, out of the university. But in the middle of that, I did 4 years in the Air Force. So it really only took me 5 years to get a degree. But anyway, I am very pleased to introduce to you this morning Wade Normandin. Wade is the replacement for Charity, who we've had as our contact. He's the volunteer coordinator at Salvation Army down on 11th Street. And I did not get a bio from him, but that's okay. I can make up something, but I think what I'd rather do is go ahead and say, Wade, we're glad to have you here this morning, and we'll turn it over to you to go ahead and begin your presentation.
Okay, thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. And I'm so glad that you give me the opportunity to speak this morning. And so I want to tell you a little bit about the Salvation Army. I want to start off with the story. if you would go over to 3001 North Martin Luther King Boulevard, they open at 7 o'clock in the morning, and there's probably a mother named Anita that just dropped off her 3 children, age 5, 7, and 10. And because school has been in and out for Tulsa Public, they're doing the online school there. I just want you to imagine they all show up with their backpacks, ready to study. They're also very hungry. But as they come in those front doors, they're screened, their temperature's taken. There's a health questionnaire, and then they're checked in. They have breakfast, and just those 3 children alone, one starts his Zoom at 7:30 in the morning, another starts at 8 o'clock, and the third starts at 8:30. And so you become very good at Zoom meetings. And if you notice on my Zoom, I have the name Austin on my name, where my name is. That's my son, and he's a 14-year-old at Collinsville Middle School. And he's on Zoom calls, and we have different emails. And I'm not sure how in the world I get Austin off of there and put my name on the screen, but that's just part of the day. But I wanted to paint a picture just at the North Mabee Boys and Girls Club. It is very active there. The children are coming in. It's very staff intensive, because if you can imagine a 5-year-old having to navigate Zoom with their teachers being on a schedule, it's quite challenging. Then you have the older kids through teenage years come. They have a little bit more savvy when it comes to technology, but still it's a number one challenge. And this is a change for the Boys and Girls Clubs. We have not only North Mabee, we have Mabee Red Shield on Harvard. We have 3 suburban clubs. They're in Broken Arrow, Sand Springs, and Sepulpa. And normally, unless it's summertime or fall or spring break or Christmas, the kids are picked up at school. North Mabee, for example, pre-COVID had 12 different school sites that they traveled to pick up children, to bring them back to the club, and then programming would start. One of the big emphasis is STEM, science, technology, engineering, math, and we'd learn everything we could about Google Earth, how to make bread in a bag. You know, we would do different chemistry lessons, also smart moves, passbook to manhood, smart moves for young women. We also have what's called Power Hour, that's homework time. It's just a number of different things, but also all the different athletics that go on at a Boys and Girls Club that people may not realize. They have basketball leagues, football leagues, they have baseball, volleyball, cheerleading. At North Mabee, they're really big into wrestling, and they brought several medals home for their wrestling skills. So just a large footprint just in the Boys and Girls Clubs that the Salvation Army operates. And then you add to that our Center of Hope, the largest downtown homeless shelter in Northeast Oklahoma. And we just recently had our Thanksgiving dinner. I had the privilege of being a part of that. And we had 309 meals served on Christmas Day. And that was way down from a normal pre-pandemic times where we've had 800 plus people come for meals on Thanksgiving. But we had to implement social distancing. There were only 10 tables set up, 4 to a table, and they came in a little bit at a time. And then after they finished their meal, they had a section where they could go to get clothes, socks, scarves, gloves, hygiene items, and it was just a real positive time for the Center of Hope and the clients and the guests that had come. One of the challenges, though, is that they've had to, because of the pandemic, they've had to create social distancing for the guests as they stay there and sleep there. And that has caused the creation of an overflow shelter that you may be familiar with at the old Gilcrease Juvenile Center. And the Salvation Army, in partnership with the city of Tulsa and the Day Center, and Iron Gate, they all partnered together to work together to create this overflow shelter, to create the space. And the Salvation Army was part of that, and I had the privilege of serving over there for about a month, just to help to reduce some of the capacity. It closed for a bit during the late summer, I think after July 1, but it is now back open. It's not operated by the Salvation Army at this point, but then when it was under our Emergency Disaster Services umbrella that we have as well. We also have the ARC, Adult Rehabilitation Center. That is for men that are addicted to drugs and alcohol, and they're trying to come clean, and that's a residential program. But also they go out, if you see the big Salvation Army vans, they go out and pick up furniture, clothing from around Tulsa. People call in to have pickups. That's brought back. That's part of their work. And then that goes, those items are generated and moved to the Salvation Army thrift store where those items are sold. One of the big, of course, one of the big pushes right now is our Christmas time. And just a little bit about me, I'm not brand new to the Salvation Army, but I'm new to this position. I started last month, just in the midst of Christmas. It's our busiest time. It's all hands on deck. We have numerous moving parts that you probably are familiar with and Charity has spoke to you. But just to kind of give you a little bit of a glimpse of that, of course, we have our Red Kettle kickoff on November 6th. That was at Reese's there in Brookside, and that was our kickoff. And since then, either volunteers have been at the various locations around town, or it has been a paid ringer. And I coordinate the volunteer side. And again, it is a challenge, especially with COVID, to get the volunteers. We also do the counter kettles, where we set counters at businesses, and then folks donate the businesses. But just to give you an idea, from last year compared to this year, we had 200 kettles set out at businesses last year, and we have 25 set out this year. That's my understanding. So significantly lower. They estimate that the giving in just the red kettles will be 55% lower than last year. But the need has increased to 155%. And that's nationally, not necessarily here in Tulsa. But the giving has gone down, they estimate, in the red kettles, but the need has just grown significantly. And so some of the other moving parts out there is, of course, we have our angel tree that is set up at Woodland Hills Mall, and we have volunteers that are manning that every day. And then we have also angel trees that aren't manned, but they're set up at Sam's in Tulsa Hills, Walmart out in the Bixby area, and various other places as well. We have about 4 of those locations. And folks, they find a tag on a tree that describes this child, their age, what they would, their kind of their wish list, and a person will pull that tag, purchase those items, bring them back to the store, and then staff on their routes go out there and bring those items to our Joy Center. And probably telling you things you already know, but we have the Joy Center, which actually starts today. And we have 2 shifts, and that there's some days where we only have a morning shift or an afternoon shift, but pretty much for the next 2 weeks, we are processing, organizing all the angel tree gifts, all that's generated from the virtual toy drives that are going on. The gifts, the boxes from Walmart and Amazon are just coming in like crazy. All those have to be opened and processed. And so that's what our volunteers are going to be doing. And then that builds up to Distribution Day, which is on December 21st and 22nd, where the people that have signed up for Angel Tree, we have 3,100 families signed up right now, and that it's hard to say how many individuals. Last year, when we broke down the families, we had 11,000 individuals for Angel Tree. And our warehouse is substantial. It's huge, and it is just full of toys and bags, and there's just all kinds of sorting and organizing going on. It's an incredible logistic project with everybody involved. But we are continuing to seek out volunteers, and we know that because of COVID, we're having people call me and says, I can't, I'm scheduled to ring, but I've just been quarantined. And those calls come in. And so it's just, you just never know. You just say on a daily basis, but there are people that are stepping up, and then there's some that can't. And give you an idea, just at our Thanksgiving meal, we had a large group already signed up, ready to go to help serve there. But understandably, they became nervous and they cited on abundance of caution, and they declined. They apologized, were very sad. But at the last minute, we put out a social media push, hey, we need more volunteers to help with the Thanksgiving meal. And we had 12 sign up immediately. And even some of them, at least one had to respond back, I just went on quarantine. And so they, in just that short amount of time, but we had about 9 volunteers that just stepped up, and we were masked up, we were gloved up, we had aprons on, and we signed release forms, health screenings, and I paint the picture to that are volunteering. This is the reality. I don't want you to take a chance if you don't feel comfortable. We're providing the proper PPE, but everybody has a different level of comfort, and we understand that, and just working with people the best we can. It is. In addition to that, we have numerous, calls that come in for just social service needs. Utilities, money, that they just need help with food. And it's just especially around the Christmas time, it's a real challenge. We also partner with the Tulsa World on Project Santa. And if you subscribe to the Tulsa World, excuse me, every day there's a new article about a family in need, and you can donate to the Tulsa World, and they're in partnership with the Salvation Army. So that's a big push as well. Also, back to the Red Kettle, our goal is to raise $705,000 through the Red Kettle for this season. And that's actually up from our goal of last year of $653,000. And we hope to reach that. We've had to go virtual on several different things, with virtual toy drives, with virtual kettles. And I'm so glad we have, professionals here that understand how to manage and work that and to communicate that. Also, this Sunday, we have an envelope from the Salvation Army that will be in the Tulsa World for Project Santa. So that will give people the opportunity to donate as well. So again, just a lot of different moving parts that are going on. We also have our core churches, churches that are either in the Boys and Girls Club or standalone, and folks are serving out of there, and the community centers. We have officers at different locations and we have employees. They work together to try to do the most good. But really, around Christmas time, we're just scrambling to, to meet need and to raise money and to do the most good. Also, I would, if you feel comfortable volunteering, whether it's as a group or individually, there are other opportunities, for example, like Kettle County. Now, you may not realize this if you've never counted a kettle, but it's a good thing. But these kettles, they have a little slot. The red kettles have a slot, and so the dollar bills get put in there, and then they get jammed in there, and they get bunched up and put in there. Well, all those kettles are collected at the end of the day, brought back to area command, but all that has to be poured out. Every dollar bill has to be straightened out, smoothed out, sorted, coins, all the different bills. And we have a whole volunteer group that come in and do nothing but just spread out dollar bills and sort all the coins and everything. And that is daily from 9 to 11. Most days, a group comes in and they help do that as well. So again, and then with the Joy Center, I have a group that's involved that's bringing 67 people, and that's for our food packing day on the 12th. And on that day, just to give you a scope, we have approximately 200 volunteers that are coming to the Joy Center here at Area Command, and they're going to spend from about 9 to 1 packing food boxes. And those food boxes are then will be given with the gifts on the distribution day. And so we got to get ahead on that as well. Just to give you a little bit of an insight on the paid ringers. We have numerous sites at Walmart's, Sam's, Reese's, and that can be in Owasso, Broken Arrow, Sand Springs, Bixby, all different places, including Tulsa. We don't have near the volunteers to man those. That would be ideal. And so we have paid ringers, and those ringers are hired seasonally. And they come every morning to Area Command, and they're given their schedule. But they also receive a devotion from Major Gilliam. He's a pastor and leader at our Citadel Core Church, and so he provides a nice devotional every single day for them. And it's just kind of behind the scenes, but ministering to the employees that are been hired seasonally. That's important to us, as well. We truly are having to really, I guess the word of the month for me is adaptability, because everything changes daily. It's changing for the Boys and Girls Clubs, where some of the kids go back to school and then they pivot back to online. And to give you an understanding of how difficult it is with that, you have to staff up for those kind of situations. You have to navigate and change. But it's all worth it, because back to Anita, as I began my talk, Anita, that's probably already dropped her children off, single mother, and she is probably in her class at Tulsa Tech right now. And it's just a lifesaver for her that she can have trust in a program that will help feed her children, watch her children, help educate her children while she's trying to better herself. And it's quite a challenge. And so we fill that gap and help those that are the most needy, and it makes a difference in the lives of the children and the parents. And we have a lot of appreciative people out there, but there is a lot of stress, a lot of struggle, a lot of, if you can imagine how many children are being raised by their grandparents, and all of a sudden, they have to tell their grandmother, I have to be on Zoom at 7:30 in the morning. And we have grandparents that just come to us and say, here's the computer. So you have the whole, everything's a challenge, for homes. I call it the cascading series of events. It just kind of starts at home and it starts on rolling, and it can roll right into, the situations in the clubs or wherever you may find yourself. Well, I've tried to give this in a nutshell, a little bit about myself. I apologize, Mike. I did send a bio, but I sent it late yesterday evening, and so if you're not, I apologize for that. But again, just a little background on myself. I'm new to this position, but I do have a background in environmental health and safety. I worked in the oil and natural gas industry for some time. Was laid off after surviving 2 or 3 company buyouts. Also a pastor at a local Nazarene church here in town. I have a beautiful wife that teaches first grade at Bailey Elementary in Owasso. I have a 14-year-old son that, of course, is at Collinsville Middle School. It plays on their basketball team. I have a 27-year-old that's in the United States Navy, and he's stationed on the USS Alabama, the nuclear submarine out of Bangor, Washington, that carries all the nuclear warheads. And he's just received orders. I feel real sorry for him, but he just received orders to Pearl Harbor. So it gives me a good reason to go visit him in Hawaii. He's in the midst of transitioning there this month, and he'll be working on submarines there at Pearl Harbor. And so that's a little bit about myself. And I did serve in the United States Air Force, but as a reservist. No, not making light of that, but I served as a reservist. And then Richard Scabauer Air Force Base back in the day in Kansas City. It's no longer there in that capacity, and also Elmendorf Air Force Base in Alaska. And I still have a love in my heart for Alaska. I lived there for 11 years. It's a very special place, and hopefully you visited. If not, put it on your bucket list. The author James Michener, that you want to go to Alaska when you're old, because everything else will pale in comparison. And so again, it's a magnificent place, and just enjoy there. But anyway, I'll wrap up our talk. If there's any questions, I'll feel free to try to.
Yeah, Wade, actually, we do have some questions in the chat.
Okay.
And so this one says, located by Eugene Field School. Do you have programming, transportation for children involved there?
With Eugene Field School, I know exactly where that is. That used to be the West Maybe Boys and Girls Club. That, if you're familiar with what's going on, a major transformation is taking place in the Eugene Field neighborhood, where they're received large grants from HUD and also private monies. And it's going to look very similar to what is going on and has been in Kendall Whittier area. Apartments have already been torn down. That location where West Maybe was, which is literally next door to the school, has been torn down. That building is no longer there. It's recently been torn down. So we're down from 6 clubs to 5. There is a possibility that a club could pick up at Eugene Fields. They'd have to contact, I could give that information, they'd have to contact the director of that program. They do pick up at Council Oaks School, which is not too far from Eugene Fields, but yeah,
okay.
Just going on there with that club is no longer, it's done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's another question. It says, is there a steady source of gently used sports equipment, baseball gloves, etc.? Does Salvation Army need another source?
The Salvation Army, speaking for North Maybe, they do, they partner with an organization, and I don't have that on the top of my head, but that provides, we have a baseball league, and if anybody does not have a mitt, a glove, they are provided that. Now, they may appreciate another source as well, but they are with an organization right now that provides those for baseball equipment for them. And I know North Maybe does have a supply of items there as well, but again, I'm sure the athletic director there, his name's Coach Jones, would certainly probably like to talk to the individual if they're to just discuss that further.
Okay. Speaking of disaster services, did our local Salvation Army go to the Gulf Coast after the hurricanes?
We had an officer from the Sand Springs location go to, I think, the most recent hurricane. And I believe he ended up going into quarantine because of COVID. We responded, Emergency Disaster Services responded last year to all the flooding that went on here in Oklahoma, especially in our area. So we have numerous hours. I have some stats on that I could share. But that's part of my role as well, is Emergency Disaster Services, as far as training people and being responsive and ready to go. And again, if there's any interest in that as well, we are seeking volunteers. But we have certainly gone in the past and responded to different hurricanes. It just depends on the need, the severity, and just the assets and resources available. That's a call that's made at a high level, and they look at all the assets and decide, hey, Tulsa needs to deploy. And then we're ready to go. Whether it's local, whether it's in the Gulf Coast area. We're part of the Southern Command, Southern states, and so the Salvation Army is divided up into to sections or regions. So we normally would respond to like the Gulf Coast, Florida, those kind of things.
Great, thank you. There's another question. What social media does Salvation Army use?
Social media, they have their own obvious website that they're really involved with. I've seen Twitter. I know they do that. But they work real closely with the different TV stations, with the Tulsa World, and getting the word out there. I'd have to double check all of them. We have people that are our public relations piece. We have somebody that does all the big events piece, and I'd have to go a little deeper with them on that. But they are using multiple platforms to get the word out.
Good. And then here's what says, what do I need to do to sign up to be a bell ringer?
Well, there's two things. You can go to our registertoring.com. It's registertoring.com. And what that is a Salvation Army site, and it gives you the flexibility to say, I want to ring at this location on this day at this time. And so you can go to that, or you can call me and say, hey, I want to volunteer, and I'll ask you, hey, what day you're interested in? Is there a particular area of the city that you'd like to ring in? And one way or the other, we can certainly get a person plugged in. It's a great, bell ringing is, great for groups, but that's been a challenge as well. I mean, I had a group bell ringing out at Reese's in Catoosa, just to give you an example. And just the night before, I get a text message, I'm in quarantine. And so that goes, there's a whole 2 hours of that. That company has taken that whole shift, but now you've just lost somebody to quarantine. So you just never know. It just changes rapidly, but certainly can help with that, or registertoring.com.
Right, right. Oh, how did the women's auxiliary event go yesterday? Do you know? Was that a success?
I do not know. I know
Okay.
that the auxiliary is very important to the Salvation Army. The ladies are in here daily, and with the various work that they're doing, they've already been working feverishly in the Joy Center, and they're working with the auction, and they do so much, but I'm not sure about how that event went.
Okay.
But they're A1 supporters, no doubt.
Yes, yes. All right. Are there any other questions? Yes, Mike.
Well, it's not a question, but this is for Wade. If we were meeting together at the Marriott, as we usually do, at this point in the meeting, our president would walk over to you and present the Salvation Army with a $500 check. I've got that check. We just haven't gotten it to you yet, but
Well,
it's a
thank you.
contribution from the club to the Salvation Army, and I will bring that to you probably early next week.
Well, I thank you, Mike, and I appreciate that. It was nice to see you in person as you've been over here, but I want to thank you for your group and for your generosity and for allowing me the opportunity to speak. And I know these are challenging times for all of us, and we're just making the best of it, and we'll make it through this time. But we just have to stay vigilant and keep safe. And I just let you know, in about an hour and 15 minutes, I'm going to have volunteers coming in, and I change hats and I start taking temperatures and signing people in and getting their PPE kits. And again, it just doesn't look the same, but we're thriving and being successful and working hard to do the most good. But we can't do it without organizations like the Rotary that support us not just financially, but with all your volunteer hours. And I know things look different this year, but again, it's all hands on deck trying to, the need is so tremendous that it just, we need everybody's help and working together. But thank you for allowing me to speak this morning. I appreciate that very much.
I appreciate your presentation this morning, and I'm sorry that there won't be as many kettles out this year. I hope, is it the South African coin that usually gets in one of the kettles that is a big surprise?
Yes, the gold cougaran, I believe. Yes.
Well, I hope you get more than one this year.
Well, we hope so. And the kettle counters are always excited, of course. You know, who's going to get the coin? And so they have so much fun with that.
That's great. As a thank you, we're not going to give you a coffee cup, but what we're going to do is we donate money to Rotary International for Polio Plus in the name of our speaker. So
thank you.
there will be a donation made. Mike Bibby takes care of that. And that's our thank you to you for appearing this morning. We've got just a minute or two left. Jesse, do you want to unmute yourself and talk a little bit about the breakfast on your virtual breakfast on Saturday morning?
Oh, yeah. Thank you for the opportunity. So we're really excited about this. We've put together kind of a history of KIP and featured a couple of pairs of like mentor mentees, just to kind of paint a picture of the impact KIP has been having for a couple of generations now in education in North Tulsa, and show what it looks like for the path toward equity and opportunity to continue to widen under the philosophy that our founder instilled in our organization, which is to reach one and teach one. So you're going to see a lot of beautiful moments like that. And as well, there's a cute cooking demo with a student of ours who has been, a very avid volunteer with the organization, helped, during his summer and came and helped distribute Chromebooks to his peers. So he's meeting with Chef Kelly Crisp, who's with Lefties on Greenwood, and they're doing a breakfast mac and cheese together and just kind of talking about how schools have weathered, the pandemic, as well as restaurants, who have stepped up. And so, yeah, it's just about resilient community and how those, those relationships really take us toward a bright future. So, Barb, thanks for giving me the chance to mention that. I appreciate it. And I'm really excited about the videos. It was a big project to take on. And
Well, I think that'll be interesting. I know Kip has usually done a breakfast about this time of year to thank the people who have been supporting them throughout the year. And I've gone to several of them, and they've always been very nice. And you learn a little bit more about Kip every time. So if you're interested, go out to the Kip website and sign up for it and attend the breakfast. And you can go get the ingredients and cook the breakfast while they are, or you can just watch them cook it and then drool, because I know it'll be fun. It'll be good. So thank you. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to let the club
Grog is waving his hand.
Yeah, Barbara, I'm on a CDC committee, the advisory committee on immunization practices, and yesterday we had an emergency meeting, and you probably saw it on the news, but the release of 2 COVID vaccines is imminent and probably will be approved by, at least for emergency use, by the FDA on December the 10th. And hopefully these vaccines will be available for everybody by March or April. The initial allocation of 40 million doses will be going to healthcare providers that are doing frontline work and long-term long-term assistant living type of facilities where everybody in the facility will be getting the vaccination. And those will be administered by pharmaceutical approved companies and will be part of the first round. And then they're expecting 5 to 10 million doses to be available weekly, and possibly other companies in addition to the Pfizer and Moderna that are asking for approval. So any questions?
Yeah, I guess you heard that the UK approved the Pfizer vaccine last night.
Yeah.
They will
Yeah.
start delivering it, this week.
They're trying to beat us.
Yeah.
That's
Hey,
good to know.
Barbara,
Yes.
is there any information on Don Walker services?
I have not seen anything, but as soon as I do, I'll have Kit blast that out to everybody. I don't
I
know
know
if
it
they
looked like Jack was trying to say something earlier, and I just wondered if he knew something.
Jack and I were visiting last night, and he does have the information, but his sound's not working this morning.
well, we'll get that information and get it blasted to the club,
Yeah,
because I'm
send
not
that
sure
out, please.
with COVID what anybody's going to be able to do right now. So, okay, we're going to try and have our board meeting on the 14th. It will be at the Marriott in person and on Zoom. So I've sent the information out to the Rotary Board. We should be ready to do that. So if anybody would like to attend or would like the information to attend by Zoom, just let me know. And closing, if there's nothing else, then here's my quote from Benjamin Franklin: "Be slow in choosing a friend, slower in changing." So thank y'all, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.
Goodbye.